On this day, September 1st, in 2008, I don't want to get that date wrong, the Spring Temple Buddha was finished after over 10 years of construction. And it is the biggest statue in the world. So I'm going to grab my fine tip Sharpie and we're going to draw a very big statue. So we're going to draw just the figure part of Buddha, but it is on this very cool pedestal. So I'm going to make the pedestal by making a squishy oval shape down here and just adding it to a couple other oval shapes underneath here. Now, Buddhism is a religion and philosophy that started in India. This particular statue is in China. And the thoughts around Buddhism, well, Buddhism was started first by, I'm going to add, oh gosh, I want to make sure that I talk about the facts, but I decided I wanted to add a few more of these bubbles in here just to kind of look like. And this part of the pedestal is kind of like golden, just like the statue. All right. So Buddhism is actually an ancient religion that started in ancient India and has spread throughout the East. And it's based on the teachings of a person who was originally called Buddha, who started out named Siddhartha. And he was a prince. And he lived in the area that's now we call Nepal. Okay, so this statue is going to be very tall. In real life, the statue, including the pedestal, is 420 feet, the tallest statue in the world at the time, 20, 2008. All right. Whenever I'm drawing like a full person, kind of like to start in the middle so that I can know that most the half of the bottom of the body is going to be down here and the top is going to be up here. But so Buddha is wearing robes. So usually we'll draw like a belt. I'm just going to draw a little bit of a draping robe here. So kind of a U shape and then bring it all the way down to the base, the pedestal here. And I'm just going to add a few more of these like draping U shapes to give it that feeling of a robe. And then I'll reach the sides of the body up. And then we're going to draw Buddha's hands as well. The first shoulder is going to go over, around, and down. And his hand is reaching out. So we'll have thumb, finger, 2, 3, 4. And it's sort of like bent here. So our robe is going to bend here. We'll see all of those bends in here. And it's scooping across his body as well. And it's going to go over this shoulder. All right, so the robe is going over this shoulder and kind of draping down. This hand is lifted up. So we're going to draw the hand first. And we'll just have the fingers touching. So I'm going to have a thumb and then a finger coming down, finger, finger, finger. And then we see kind of like this part of the arm coming out of the robe. And then the robe is reaching down in a long flowing lines. Then we'll bring I have my shoulders a little off kilter, so I'm just going to add another line there. Good thing he has these flowing robes. And then I'm going to make a U shape. And then Buddha's hair is kind of like up in a bun. So kind of like these circles down here, I'm going to make that bun with some circle shapes, like the top of his head, like this, and then a big one on top. And I'm just going to make the eyes with eye shapes right in the middle of the head. I'll add eyebrows. I always make my noses just the letter L. We'll have a nice serene mouth. You can add an upper lip if you want to, and then ears right on the sides of the head. And then this statue, like I said, has a golden tone to it. I'm actually going to use yellow to represent gold, and it's a whole golden statue. So I'm filling in, I'm going to use this yellow to fill in color everywhere. And I can see a spot where I could have added a little bit more detail with my pen on his robe. I might do that. So this is the golden color. And so Prince Siddhartha, been talking a lot about drawing. He was, as a prince, he was wealthy, lived in a palace, and he noticed that his life was very different from his people. There was a lot of poverty, and he didn't think that was very fair. And so he gave up his life as a prince in order to become like a servant to the people. Like he wanted to teach the people about ways that they can be happy, even though their circumstances were they're even in poverty. And so he taught the people about suffering. He taught them um, about making choices that would help end suffering, especially for others. And he talked about karma, this idea that um, what if you do good, good things happen. If you do bad, bad things happen. And that was tied to the idea that you would live multiple lives. That idea is called reincarnation. I'm adding like a slightly darker orangey yellow color, golden color, just to give my statue a little bit more depth. And I was going to, the reason why I didn't really color in all this white is because I was going to bring in this darker color here. But then I started thinking, do I want to do that? All right, I'm going to sort of outline these. I'm outlining most of the statue and then coming in wherever I sort of left white, I'm adding this darker gold color to it. And that's giving my statue a lot of depth. And the idea of karma is tied to reincarnation, that we live many lives. So if you live a good life, you will come back attached to like a better life, like different ways that you could come back to live would be based on your actions in your past life. So this is a drawing of the Spring Temple Buddha in China.